Now available in paperback and Kindle, vampires stalk the darkness of the Eternal Night. Get your copy of Eternal Night in paperback and Kindle on Amazon.com.
Hi everyone, it's Shawn here with a comic review video. And now that the John Haynes at Death's Door Kickstarter is over, I've gotten some requests from viewers who want to get a copy. Now, right now I'm working on ways to get viewers a copy, and I'm pondering on opening up either an online store so people can buy copies, or I'm gonna do an Indiegogo that gives people a second chance. So those are the options I'm weighing in on for getting people copies of John Haynes at Death's Door so that you won't miss out on the first John Haynes comic now that the Kickstarter is over. And I'm also working on my next comic project, and I'm wondering if I want to do an ISIS project or another John Haynes project. So a lot of things are going on as related to comics, and as I've been working on my own comics, I have also been getting a lot of comics I put in pledges for, and one of the comics I put in a pledge for was Dan Mendoza's Zombie Tramp 57. Now, after reading 56B, which put Janie Bell's story back on track, I have been anticipating getting this latest issue of Zombie Tramp. Now, your Dan Mendoza, the creator of Zombie Tramp, had a protracted issue with the original publisher Action Lab Studios, and because your Action Lab Studios and Dan Mendoza were having issues, he wasn't able to control his own intellectual property. That goes back to something YouTuber Raymond Leonard talked about in his video. Don't sign away your things with these Facebook comic publishers, because what happens is when the publisher owns your property, they can do whatever they want and they can keep you from having creative control. And this really tied the hands of Dan Mendoza for several years. However, Dan has recently gotten the rights back to Zombie Tramp, and now he's going on to craft his own stories about Janie Bell. Now, back in Zombie Tramp 56, your Janie Bell's story basically ended and Angel Lynch's story started. And it was a good organic transition from Janie to Angel. Unfortunately, when Dan got the rights back to Zombie Tramp and went back to doing Janie's story, this left a lot of continuity baggage as related to Angel Lynch's story. Now, Angel Lynch's story went on from about issue 56 to about issue 80 when the series ended at Action Lab, and your Dan was going to be stuck with a major continuity issue that he would have to deal with. However, Dan does a fantastic job of dealing with all of the Angel Lynch continuity, and he does it all in one issue. And I gotta give props to Dan for going out here and dealing with the Angel Lynch continuity, because what he did right here in this first issue is how you do a retcon. When you do a retcon, what you want to do is wrap up all of the story elements from the previous series and do it in a fashion that allows you to quickly, organically transition right back to the main character that you want to focus on. So right here is a clinic on how to do a retcon, and this is something that many comic book writers should take a look at, because when Dan shows his craft as related to writing, it just really flows organically in this one issue. Because I've seen many other comic writers, when they're stuck with major continuity issues, they go out here and work 6, 7, 8 issues trying to wrap up a lot of storyline baggage, but Dan does it right here in one issue, dealing with all of the Angel Lynch baggage, just basically dealing with it and moving us forward to Janie's ongoing saga. Now, as this issue starts, we are introduced to the so-called Angel Lynch, who actually is just a cosplayer, and her friend Mel. And these two are the ones who, after they heard about the end of Janie Bell's story, decided to go out here and introduce this Angel Lynch character on social media. And according to Dan's new continuity, this Angel Lynch is just an idea come up by Mel and your cosplayer, and they came up with this idea to capitalize on the popularity of the zombie Tramp character. Now, the story starts with your cosplayer going out here looking to put her image on social media, and Mel looking to stop her because they want to keep the legend fresh, but the legend is out there, and Janie has found out about their scam and is about to go out here and put on some real carnage to deal with these imposters who have been exploiting Janie's legend. So this whole first sequence, again, in less than 3 pages, basically retcons Angel Lynch into being a idea that was presented for social media. And again, very well done. I mean, this is how you do a retcon if you're gonna have to do one. And this is how you shut things down as related to a whole lot of bad storyline baggage. You just basically find a way to wrap up that story and then get the focus back on the main story. And I really like how he did it, again, just in 2 pages. I mean, we get the splash with the introduction of the Angel Lynch legend, and then we get Janie sequenced right in, watching the action, getting us back to the main character and getting us back to her story. Just exceptionally well done writing and exceptionally well crafted pacing. I mean, get us right back to the action. This is how you craft a comic. And as the story goes on, we learn more and more about the whole Angel Lynch legend, and we see Janie getting ready to go out here and participate in some carnage. And I'm not going to give away too much of the comic because I don't want to go out here and take away from all of Dan Mendoza's hard work, because he really put the grind in on this book, and I want to show respect to him and all of his work. So that's why I'm not going to show too much of this comic. But this comic is absolutely fantastic, and the storytelling is rock solid. And I have to say that this is just how you go out here and put together a really solid comic that moves the story forward, because as the Angel Lynch story is dealt with very quickly, we then transition into Janie's story as she has her confrontation with Mel. And as she has her confrontation with Mel, we get into plot points that basically bring us right back to Janie's story and bring us back to Janie's story in a very effective manner. I mean, at the end of this issue's cliffhanger, you're wondering how Janie's going to get out of this one. And it really brings me back to those old school issues that were a part of Action Lab and a part of Dan Mendoza's absolutely fantastic run. I mean, he brings back the heart and soul of Janie's story, and he brings back the heart and soul back to Zombie Tramp in less than 2 issues. I mean, this is, again, a clinic on good comic writing, and this is one of the reasons why I can recommend this comic to you, because this issue is just absolutely well done. And it just shows what happens when you have a writer who is a master of their craft going out here and laying out the sequences for the comic. I mean, this is one of the best comics, I'd say, of 2022, and it does a great job of dealing with past continuity baggage while moving a story forward and keeping things fresh. And I especially love this cover, which pays homage to 1984's Nightmare on Elm Street. I remember being a kid seeing this poster in video stores where we used to rent tapes, and Dan brings it back to life and makes it fresh for a new generation by using those compositions for his characters. And again, exceptionally well done cover. If I saw this in a comic shop, I definitely would pick it up. And after I read the couple of pages right here, I would be making a purchase, which I did when I pledged in the Kickstarter. But this comic, again, is so good that we're counting down the days until you can get the next issue. That's how well done this comic is, and it just is, again, absolutely fantastic issue, and shows what you can do when you are a master of your craft. I would have to say that the Zombie Tramp series is back on track, and now we can now that we've dealt with this Angel Lynch continuity issue and the issues from the previous Action Lab books, now Dan can get focused on issue 58 and telling his story, and possibly revisiting many of the older plot threads like the Kaiju Queen, which really was not really resolved, and the issue of what happened to Janie's pimp, who is still in the suitcase. So there's a lot of plot threads that need to be resolved, and now we can get right into those plot threads now that we've dealt with all of this continuity baggage. And again, this book really shows what happens when you have a solid writer laying the foundation for the story. Once they lay that foundation, then you can move on and start telling a fantastic story in pictures, and that's what we got here with Zombie Tramp. So I was really happy with this issue of Zombie Tramp. Absolutely great issue, and I want more people to go pick up this book, and I wish Dan had something outside of Kickstarter, a store where he could sell these books, because I believe that more people would pick up this book if they knew about it. I mean, it's the same dilemma I'm having right now with John Haynes at Death's Door. I have some people asking me if they want to get an issue. I'm trying to figure out a way to get them an issue, whether it be an Indiegogo or going out here and selling it myself. So that's what I'm working on right now. And with this latest issue is one you don't want to miss. This Zombie Tramp series is back on track. Janie's story is back on track, and you want to get in on this run as soon as possible. Now, if you want to see me make more comic review videos like this and support Kickstarters of creators like Dan Mendoza, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. And if you want to pick up some of my action-packed fantasy fiction on the SJS Direct imprint, like the ISIS series, the E-Steam series, the John Haynes series, and the books of the Spinsterella trilogy, you can find all those books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format, and you can find my first comic with Bill Walko, E-Steam No Good Deed, on Kindle for 99 cents. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.
Now available in paperback and coming to Kindle Unlimited, John Haynes, Dark Succubus. The man who rules the world is tempted by a sultry succubus in this all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get John Haynes, Dark Succubus in paperback or pre-order on Kindle Unlimited today.